Today we'll be going over Wildlife 3rd grade worksheet lesson number 8. And to start off, we're going to be looking at Mr. Owl's class for their least favorite insect, and we're using the bar graph to answer the questions. And so, the easiest way to start off is to count the number of bugs that got voted. So, for number 1, you have the butterfly, which has 5 votes, the bee, which has 3 votes, the ladybug, which has 7 votes, the worm, which has 2 votes, billbug has 3, and the dragonfly has 6. So for number 1, which insect got the most amount of votes? And we can clearly see that the ladybug has the most with 7. So for number 1, our answer is ladybug. For number 2, which insect got the least amount of votes? We can look at our graph and we see, oh, worm has 2, which is the least out of the other numbers. So for number 2, our answer is worm. For number 3, how many more students did not like dragonflies over worms? So we look at our numbers first. For dragonflies, they have 6 people, so we put a 6 down right here. And the worms, they had 2 votes, so we put a 2. And we just subtract it, and we get 4. So 4 more students did not like buttered dragonflies over worms. For number 4, how many students did not like bees and worms? And we can count our numbers. We have 3 students who didn't like bees and 2 students who didn't like worms. We can add these two together and we get 5 students. And lastly, how many students in total participated in the survey? And thankfully, since we already added up all our numbers together, we can just add them all together. So we have 5 plus 3 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6. And we can add these together. We have an 8, 9, and 9. Add these together. We have 18 plus 8, 8, and we get 26 total students. For the second page, we're using order of operations, or PEMDAS. So basically, PEMDAS let me write the whole thing out. So PEMDAS starts off with parentheses, or these. E stands for exponent. So you have a number up in a number, another number up there. And the rest of them is just the ones you already know. So M is multiplication, D equals division, A is addition, and S is subtraction. So knowing that, we can look at our number 1, which we have 1 times 2 plus 5. And according to order of operations, we start with multiplying. So we do 1 times 2, which gets us 2, and then we add 5, which gets us 7. For number 2, we have 2 times 3 plus 9 plus 0. And according to order of operations, we know we have to do whatever inside the parentheses first, which is 9 plus 0, which gets us 9. And after, we still have 2 times 3 plus 9, and we do multiplication first, so we get 2 times 3, which gets us 6, and then we add 9, and then that gets us 15. For number 3, we have 4 times 6 times 1, and whenever it's all the same, it doesn't really matter what order you do it, so we can just do 6 times 1 first, which gets us 6, and we still have 4, we multiply these two together, and we get 24. And for our last example, let's go over to number 9 right here. We have 40 times 5 times 20 plus 1. And since we look at PEMDAS, we know we do whatever inside the parentheses first. So we do 5 times 20, which gets us 100. And then we still have 40 times that and plus 1. And we know that we do multiplication before addition. So we do 40 times 100, which gets us 40,000. 4,000. And we still have plus 1. And so our answer is 4001. For this next page, we're looking at fractions, and we're seeing what fraction of the shape is shaded, and simplify if necessary. So, looking at number 1, we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded in parts, and there's 6 in total. So right now we have 4 out of the 6 are shaded, and since it's telling us to simplify, we have to reduce this fraction. And to do this, we have to see a common denominator, or a common multiple, which we can see is 2. So we divide each number by 2, and we get 2 and 3. And 2 or 3 is already simplified enough, so our answer is 2/3. For number 2, we see we have 1, 2, 3 shaded in pies, and we have 8 in total, so we have 3 over 8. And since 3 and 8 have no common factors together, we can just already assume that it's simply simplified. So our answer for number 2 is 3 over 8. For number 5, we have 2 shaded in areas, and we have 3 in total. And just like we see here number 1, 2/3 is already simplified, so we can just put that as our answer. And lastly, for number 6, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded in boxes out of 4 boxes, which is basically equal to 1. So our answer for number 6 is 1 or 4 out of 4. Lastly, for word problems, Teresa had 150 kitten stickers. She gave 53 to Matthew, 22 to her sister, and additional 49 stickers to Thomas. How many stickers is Amy left with? For some reason, the name changes to Amy, even though Amy is not included in this thing, but we'll assume that Amy is Teresa. So Teresa starts off with 150, and she gives 53 to Matthew. So if we were to first to subtract that, we see that 0 minus 3 is impossible, so we have to borrow 1 from this 5. This 5 becomes a 4. This 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 3 gets us 7. But now 4 minus 5 is impossible, so we have to borrow 1 from this 1. And this 14, this 4 becomes a 14. 14 minus 5 gets us 9. So right now she has 97 left. But she gives 22 more to her sister, so we have to subtract 22. 7 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 2 equals 7. So right now we have 75. And she gives an additional 49 to Thomas. So we have to subtract 49 once again. And we know that 5 minus 9 is impossible, so we have to borrow 1 from the 7. 7 becomes 6, 5 becomes 15. 15 minus 9 gets us 6, and 6 minus 4 gets us 2. And so we know that Teresa has 26 kitten stickers left. Number 2, Harold's class went to a water park. Harold has $57. He paid $29.95 for a ticket and $6.39 for a t-shirt. Does he have enough money to buy a bottle of Sprite that costs $5.99? So to find our answer first, we need to find out how much he already spent. So we can add these two together. We have $29.95 and $6.39. Add these two together, we get 4, carry the 1, 13, carry the 1 again, 16, carry the 1 again, and we get 36.34. And now, since we know he brought $57, we're going to subtract 57 and 36.34. So 0 minus 4 is impossible, 0 minus 3 is impossible. So we're going to borrow 1 from this 7. This 7 becomes a 6. This 0 becomes a 9 because we have to borrow 1 more for this 0, and this 0 becomes a 10. So now we subtract. 10 minus 4 gets us a 6. 9 minus 3 gets us 6. 6 minus 6 gets us 0, and 5 minus 3 gets us 2. And so we know that he has $20.66 left, which is greater than $5.99, meaning that yes, he has enough money to buy a bottle of Sprite.